They were having lunch. She spotted Jamie at a table by the window, all 6 feet of his long legs sprawled out in front of him, but he rose as soon as he saw her, a wide grin on his gorgeous face.
Allie.
He pulled her into a long hug, and she stood on her toes to wrap her arms around him. It felt lovely, familiar, and she realized with a sudden pang how much she'd missed New Orleans and all the people in it. But she was done missing everyone. She may have let Mick Reid chase her away all those years ago, but she was back, and she was determined that everything would be different this time. Pulling back, she took a good look at Jamie. "You've shaved your hair almost completely off." She ran a hand over the brown buzz cut. "Ooh, it's soft, and it suits you. I like the eyebrow piercing, too." He laughed and pulled out a chair for her, held it while she settled into it before seating himself across the small table from her.
I'm glad you approve. You can give me all the style advice you want. I'm just glad you're back.
I am too. It's so good to see you. What have you been up to?
The usual. Working on cars. Trying to stay out of trouble.
How's the shop doing? She asked. Jamie's business was restoring vintage muscle cars, work he'd loved since high school.
It's doing great. We're finally recovering, along with the rest of the city. Business is good. In fact, my cousin Duff is coming in from Scotland in a few months. We'll be expanding the shop to include his specialty. He restores vintage motorcycles. We just gutted the space next door and are about to start the build-out. What about you? Are you settling into the house?
The house was a small cottage in the Garden District, left to her by her great-aunt Josephine, her father's aunt, the reason she'd initially decided to return to the city and make it her home once more. The house is a bit of a mess, actually. The kitchen needs to be completely redone, and it needs to be painted. A few other things. I wanted to ask if your brother Alistair is available to take on the job.
Of course. He runs several crews these days. I'll talk to him. Have him give you a call.
Thanks. She smiled at him over her menu. The waitress brought water to the table, and they ordered. "So," Allie started, wanting and not wanting to ask about Mick. Jamie raised an eyebrow.
So,
I ran into Summer yesterday."
Summer Grace?
"Yes, it was nice to see her. We ended up sitting down and talking over coffee. You know, she still has the hots for you."
He groaned. Jesus, do people still say, has the hots?
Allie couldn't help but grin at his discomfort. Summer Grace Ray, Brandon's sister, had been after Jamie since they were all kids. She's a total sex kitten, that girl. You could do worse.
Worse than hitting on my best friend's little sister? The one who he asked me on his deathbed to look after?
That could be one way of doing it, she teased. He blew out a breath, his hand rubbing the stubble on his head.
Why do I have the feeling you're using this to avoid the conversation you came here to have with me?
Am I that obvious?
Yes, he answered simply.
She bit her lip, her fingers tightening around the white cotton napkin she held. What the hell? She was going to ask sooner or later. Okay, so I was wondering, how's Mick? Is he in town?
Mick's fine, and yeah, he's here in town. What's the rest of the question?
Allie tried to laugh, but it came out short and sharp. You know me too well.
I know you both too well.
Just tell me, Jamie, what's going on with him? Is he single? God, did I really just ask you that? Jamie laughed.
You did, sweetheart. And it's Mick. Of course he's still single.
Allie folded her napkin, laid it carefully across her lap, avoiding her friend's gaze. Is he still playing at the club, the Bastille?
We both are.
He narrowed his gaze at her.
What do you know about the Bastille?
She looked up then, met his gaze. Everything. I know about your kink, about Mick's. Maybe it's time we talked about mine. He raised his brows.
Yours? Your kink? What are you saying, Allie?
She took a deep breath. I should have told you sooner. I don't know why I didn't, especially since I've always known you would never judge me. She paused. I learned a lot while I was away, in Berlin, Amsterdam. I went to my first club when I went to culinary school in Paris. It was eye-opening, life-changing, really. I belong to 2 of the top clubs in San Francisco. I'm sure you know their names.